Hey guys, so this is the video where I do the rest of the signs. Hopefully I don't have to break up this one, but we'll find out. We left off on Gemini. We did Gemini in the last one. So now we're on Cancer. Cancer sun and rising. All right, Cancer. So June begins with the sun in Gemini lighting up your sector of spirituality and closure for the first 3 weeks. This isn't the month to rush, it's a month to reflect. It's basically a time for you to prepare for when Jupiter really goes full force into your first house. And that's when you become the main character, right, for the next year, your big glow up. But the first 3 weeks, it's like you're taking your time to get out of the hermit phase. It's like a gentle moment to say goodbye to any outdated beliefs or any subconscious fears that you have. Bringing out a newer version of yourself and letting go of the old versions of you that just don't hit anymore, right? Then we'll have Venus, the planet of love, entering Taurus on June 6th. That's going to bring blessings to your friendship, your social network sector. Someone in your crew may connect you to abundance, joy, or clarity. And if you've been feeling out of place socially, this helps you find your people again. Then Mercury and Jupiter both enter into your sign on June 8th and 9th, bringing the spotlight straight to you. So expect compliments, visibility, inspiration, and new momentum as it builds more and more towards the end of the month. So basically, June, even though we do have Jupiter going into your sign on the 9th, you're still prepping yourself for when it's your season on June 20th, right? Because that's when you really glow the most. You're still kind of doing the inner workings in the first portion of June. Then with the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th, that's going to activate your wellness and your routine sector, so 6th house. You're going to be noticing which habits feel expansive or which ones feel like a punishment to you. So maybe you start a new routine, whether it's exercise routine or a new schedule in some way. Maybe it's about going through all of your subscriptions, or you're deleting apps that drain your phone, or letting go of a person that affects you on a daily basis that you just don't need to deal with anymore, something that's a part of your routine. Either way, though, this full moon in Sagittarius will be like a release valve. Around the same time, Jupiter is going to square Saturn and Neptune. So that's going to reveal where you've been overextending yourself emotionally. You'll have to reflect on that and recognize that you can't save everyone, but you can save yourself. Then once Cancer season begins, your highlight on June 20th, you'll have a new moon in your sign 5 days later. You're really going to be stepping into a brand new personal era. That's when it really starts, when you really bloom and you become super magnetic and you're ready to take on the world. So that'll be awesome for you, your glow up for the next year. And then for Leo sun and rising, Leos, this month, you're the friend who somehow brings levity to even the most serious of situations. Gemini season activates your sector of friendship, tech, and community. You will start to feel as though you're catching your breath finally after a year of nonstop internal growth. Though it's not over yet, you'll feel a little bit of a break from all that because you have been going through a lot of heavy transits to your first house, Pluto, for example, Mars being in and out of your 12th house, and then now in your first house, which will soon leave your first house into your second, where you'll really focus on your self-worth and your financial stability and all that kind of stuff. But you will feel a little bit of a break from all that internal growth. Venus will enter Taurus on June 6th, and that's going to really bless your career and your public image sector. So that's your 10th house, right? You're going to feel like you're getting an upgrade in your status in some way. Maybe you'll get more attention in that department. Someone may recommend you for something that takes your visibility to the next level even. Then Mercury and Jupiter will enter Cancer mid-month. That's going to activate your healing sector. So you might be doing, well, you've been doing your shadow work in silence, but I think that will bring, having Jupiter and Mercury there, it's like combining the heart and the mind to bring more clarity to the shadow work that you're doing. So, but people won't see that, right? It's hidden. So people might see you as, oh, a smile on your face and you're vibing, but inside you're doing a lot of internal restructuring, internal work. So you will also have a very strong intuitive knowing when Jupiter and Mercury are together there. You could have some revelations, inner revelations that really change your course for the better. Then the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th will activate your pleasure house, your 5th house. So that'll be really fun for you. That'll bring another really nice break for you out of all the darkness that you've been dealing with. It'll be a major heart-opening experience, I think. So you could be feeling yourself in a new way, or you can meet people or connect with people that make you feel as though your inner child is coming out and having fun, to where you can truly enjoy yourself and open. And you'll be getting that permission to do so, right? Whether it's with friends, whether it's dating, whether it's with your children, family, you can make art, you'll be more flirtatious, you'll be able to indulge in your happiness without feeling shame. And then Jupiter will square Saturn and Neptune around this time. That could shake up some of your shared resources or your financial situation, especially when tied to your creative or romantic partnerships. So make sure to read the fine print and set boundaries where they're needed. Then we will have Cancer season and the summer solstice that kicks off on June 20th with the new moon in Cancer that comes 5 days later. And that's when you're really going to start your cocoon phase. It's like the lunar pregame before Leo season. So it's, and before it really starts to dive into your 12th house. Then for Virgo, sun and rising. In June, Gemini season lights up your legacy and career sector for the first 3 weeks. And then you're finally clear on the story you're here to tell. So a lot of focus on your professional life, and you'll be working on something that something new that you're wanting to launch, perhaps, or it could just be you reorganizing your next step to your goals. Then Venus will enter Taurus on June 6th. That's going to bless your travel, study, and expansion sector, which is the 9th house. You're going to start craving more depth more culture. Maybe you want to apply for a course to learn a new skill, or perhaps you want to book a solo trip to go on. Your worldview is starting to feel like it's evolving, and you'll see more beauty in the process. Mercury and Jupiter will enter Cancer shortly after that, and that's going to activate your community sector. So people around you are ready to rally behind your vision. They're ready to work with you. So as long as you speak up and express what you want to work on. And then the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th, that's going to touch your home and family sector, your fourth house. So that's kind of like clearing the clutter, clearing karmic contracts. Someone from your past could reappear, but this time for closure. Or maybe you finally let yourself be the one who doesn't initiate something. If it constantly feels heavy, then it's time to let it go. Around the same time, Jupiter will square Saturn and Neptune. That could put some pressure on your romantic or your business partnerships. If the vibes feel off, then don't force anything at this time. Wait it out. Then once Cancer season begins on June 20th, with that new moon 5 days later, it's going to lighten up your friendship area, soften the mood. You'll get tapped back into joy, community care, and celebration. So it'll be a very lighthearted month for you. Then for Libra, Sun, and Rising, well, you guys will be pulled out of your comfort zone a bit, but in a good way. Gemini season activates your sector of expansion, travel, and higher learning for the first 3 weeks. Possibly craving more freedom, right? Because it's the house of Sagittarius, expansion. So maybe you want to book a spontaneous trip or learn something new, dive into philosophical topics even. Allowing yourself to kind of roam and indulge in your curiosity. And then your planetary ruler, Venus, will enter Taurus on June 6th. That's going to be stirring up your sensuality and your intimacy in your 8th house of merging. So if you've been holding back from allowing people in, this transit could help you feel safe enough to soften, even if you just take baby steps to it. It'll help you to open up more and allow yourself to kind of dig deeper in a way. Then Mercury and Jupiter move into Cancer on June 8th and 9th. That is going to be lighting up your career and your public image sector. So that'll be good for you. Bring a lot of attention to your career and your status. So for the next 13 months, it'll help you to stretch your legacy, right? Your spotlight, all that good stuff. Then the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th, that's going to land in your communication sector. You're going to feel braver with your words. It's going to be your time to really say what you have to say and speaking your truth in a way. Maybe you want to chew out somebody at work, but in a in a diplomatic way. I don't know if that, I mean, you can. There's a way to do it. You just got to be smart on how you do it, I guess. Regardless, you will have the guts to say what you have to say. So, and it'll make you feel a lot lighter after doing it. Then you'll have Jupiter squaring Saturn and Neptune. And that's going to be, you know, it'll be a productive time, but that aspect is like a time where you need to be wary of idealizing your daily routines or overbooking your energy, overdoing things. So it's about making sure to remind yourself that you can be productive without being sacrificial. And then Cancer season arrives on June 20th, along with the new moon in Cancer 5 days later. That's going to bring your career into even sharper focus. So a lot of good career moves for you the next 13 months. You could receive public praise for something you've been quietly working on for months, or you could be ready to pivot into something else altogether. But it looks very promising nonetheless. And then for Scorpio sun and rising. For you guys, June is starting off in your house of merging and finding what is safe. So Gemini season really activates your house of intimacy and outside resources. That's going to bring attention to your debts, your shared finances, and energetic cords to you. You're looking at who's pouring into you, who's draining you, and who you've outgrown overall. Venus entering your opposite sign of Taurus on June 6th, that's going to be gracing your partnership sector. So during this transit, love wants to feel like luxury, right? Second house themes, the house of Taurus. So it's not about the price tag, though. It's not just about the price tag. It's about the peace that it brings you as well. And then Mercury and Jupiter will enter Cancer on the 8th and 9th. That's going to be expanding your 9th house of beliefs. You might feel a fog lifting. You're trusting your own mind again. If you've been second guessing yourself or staying in a mental spiral, then this is the month where you give yourself permission to believe in your path again, whatever path you choose. You'll love Jupiter and Cancer's energy over the course of the next year because it'll feel like a cosmic hug, like you're being given permission to dream big. And then we have the full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th. That's going to land in your money and your self-esteem sector. So your second house, that's going to be bringing out some financial revelations for you. Maybe a major payment lands, or perhaps you realize you've been underselling yourself in some way. Either way, though, this full moon tells you to name your worth and not to shrink. Around the same time, Jupiter squares Saturn and Neptune, which highlights patterns of procrastination or avoidance that you might have had when it comes to your passions or your projects. So if you fear anything, you could find out those blocks, right? And clear them and release them. And then Cancer season will begin on June 20th with that new moon in Cancer 5 days later. It's going to bring light and warmth to your philosophical and travel sector. So you'll finally be able to breathe again. And it's like emerging from the underworld after a while of being underneath and keeping in mind all the shadow work that you've done and worked through. So this will be a time to test yourself of whether or not you've worked through all those shadows. And then moving into Sagittarius sun and rising. This season of Gemini activates your partnership, right, Sag, because Gemini is opposite of you. It's not your descendant. Gemini is the one that drives you nuts, but then again, you can't live without them. It's like can't live with and can't live without type of energy. So your connections come front and center. From collabs to crushes, conversations could feel lighter, brighter, possibly more faded. Venus will enter Taurus on June 6th, and that's going to invite more beauty into your daily life. So, for example, like your skincare routine becomes a ritual, something that is self-care related, added into your routine. So, all that fun stuff. Then on June 8th and 9th, Mercury and your ruler, Jupiter, shift into Cancer. So that's going to enhance your intimacy and your wealth sector. Suddenly you're thinking long term and you're dreaming bigger about who you want to merge with and why, whether it's romantically or financially. Your discernment is increasing. You're done with the surface level of things or superficial stuff. You want something more. You want something deeper. So it's like you're graduating out of that superficial phase. And then we'll have a full moon in your sign on June 11th, and that's like your annual reset. So you got to think back to the new moon in Sagittarius that was 6 months ago and how you've been quietly evolving since then, shedding old skin, old stories that no longer fit with you. This full moon is like your permission slip to be seen after all of that, saying yes to yourself again and celebrating yourself loudly. Then Jupiter in Cancer will square both Saturn and Neptune in Aries. That's going to nudge you to assess whether your home and family systems support your growth. You might be realizing it's time for a new environment, internally or externally. And then Cancer season will begin on June 20th with the new moon in Cancer following 5 days later. That's going to invite more softness into your intimacy sector. So you want that closeness. You want to feel that closeness, but only with people who feel like ease and peace to you. Only with those that feel like home to you. So that will be good. We're almost done here. I need to get more water though. Okay, so on to Capricorn, Sun and Rising. So you guys are reorganizing your life, and Gemini season highlights your sector of wellness and routine for the first 3 weeks. You're going to be reworking your schedule, but not from a place of pressure. Instead of doing the most, you're asking what actually feels sustainable to you. Then Venus will enter Taurus on June 6th, and that's going to be shining in your pleasure and romance sector. You're allowed to want more sweetness into your life around that time. You don't always have to earn it. Sometimes it's just okay to let it be received to you, right? And then on the 8th and 9th, Mercury and Jupiter will enter your opposite sign of Cancer. So that's going to be activating your partnership sector. You're going to be having Jupiter in your 7th house. That could bring a lot of different love opportunities to you. Or if not love, then partnerships in general, like friendships and all that stuff. Collaborations. So new people or old people could re-enter your life. And that could change a lot of stuff for you. So the next 13 months, that's going to be a major deepening of your commitments, shifting how you show up in all kinds of relationships. And then the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th, that's going to activate your spiritual sector. You may feel extra sleepy, emotional, or unexplainably clear. Who knows? You'll find out. Something you thought you needed, you realize you're ready to release, perhaps. It's like a full body exhale. And then around that time, Jupiter will square with Saturn and Neptune. That's going to illuminate how you've been communicating your needs and if you've been communicating them or not. If you've been biting your tongue, then mid-month you will have a desire to speak your truth. Then we have Cancer season starting on June 20th with the new moon in Cancer taking place 5 days later. So in your partnership area, right, that's going to take center stage for the next 4 weeks. Someone could show up for you in a way that surprises you. And hold on, sorry about that. So someone could show up for you, or you could show up for yourself more. But yeah, that is what the month of June looks like for you, Capricorn. Just stay focused, determined, and emotionally present. You're ready for what's next. And then on to Aquarius sun and rising. Aquarius, if you've been feeling lost, then this is going to be a season that you wake up more. Gemini season wakes up your creativity, your romance, and your joy sector for the first 3 weeks of the month. So that's 5th house stuff. You're ready to flirt with life again, try new things, wear colors that make you feel like walking, like a walking sunrise. And it'll make you feel like walking, I guess, because you want to show it off, right? Then Venus enters Taurus on June 6th. That's going to bring grace to your home and your family sector. It's the month to make your home feel like a hug. So that, or just like inviting people over that make you feel like home or make you feel welcomed, loved, and wanted, you know. Then Mercury and Jupiter enter Cancer on the 8th and the 9th, and that is going to bring momentum to your work and your wellness. You're going to be ready to clean out your fridge or schedule your appointments that you need to get done, reorganizing everything. You're going to be clearing energy that you've outgrown or that weighs you down, not just the clutter. And then we'll have the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th. That's going to activate your social sector, and you're going to be feeling extra reflective. Who are you when you're around others? What or who do you want to be? This lunation could bring a friendship breakthrough or a closure. Don't fear the truth. Jupiter squares Saturn and Neptune mid-month, and that may surface some financial or self-worth insecurities, but only so you can rewire them. So it's not like a punishment. Just to keep in mind that you're not being punished. It's just a portal for you. And then Cancer season will begin on June 20th with the new moon in Cancer following 5 days later. You're going to be reminded to tend to your body and your mental health. You're in a season of repair, of rebirth. So it's a recalibration for you as well. And then last but not least, we have Pisces sun and rising. So June arrives like a love letter to your inner child, Pisces. Gemini season activates your sector of home, family, and your emotional foundations. You're craving comfort, but also new beginnings within your private world. This could be the month you move, or you redecorate, reconnect with family, or reimagine what home even means to you. And then Venus will enter Taurus on June 6th. That's going to sweeten your communication style, and it'll help you attract exactly what you need. Mercury and Jupiter will enter Cancer on the 8th and 9th of June. That's going to light up your pleasure and passion sector. So you're going to be in your muse era, so to speak. Because if you think about it, having Jupiter in your 5th house of fun, romance, pleasure, creativity, I mean, that's definitely a great era to be in. So definitely take advantage of that. Then we have the full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th. That's going to land in your career and your legacy sector. Something major is culminating for you. You may feel more visible, more respected, or you could be called to pivot. This full moon shows you what's working and what's working against you. So you'll know what you need to let go of and what to keep. Around this time, your ruler Jupiter will be in Cancer, and that's going to square both Saturn and Neptune in Aries. That's going to activate your self sector. That's going to be pushing you to be more honest about your patterns of escapism and martyrdom. Self-awareness doesn't mean self-blame, though. And then finishing out the month with Cancer season beginning on June 20th and the new moon taking place 5 days later. That's also in your romantic house and creative house. That's going to be reignited. You're going to be glowing up big time. So love is swirling around and within you, and you can't get enough of it. And, you know, what's wrong with wanting more? That's all I have to say. So it'll be a time for you to kind of break out of the Saturn that's been on your rising, right? Like Saturn being in your sign. Kick its ass out of here and just like embrace that muse era. It's like the best way to like kick off a brand new vibe, right? Anyway, that's what I have for all of you guys. I hope you liked it, and let me know what you thought. Let me know what era you're going to be in, and until the next time,